first body surfed when I was about 10 or 11. My father was an old surfer, but we lived on a cattle property in the Hunter Valley. I didn't get the chance to get to the beach very often. So when we did, we didn't waste time trying to learn to board surf, we just body surfed. Living on a cattle property for most of the year, you tended to dream a lot about the beach. So we spent as much time in the water as we possibly could. That's where it started, but I think I got my first hand plane when I was about 12 as a Christmas present, and that was a bit of a life changer. So we just wanted to use that all the time. You get your first good wave on a hand plane and it's all over. It's a lifelong addiction from that point.
These 20 miles, these 20 miles, these 20 miles, these 20 miles, we set sail.
The story of Garage Handplanes, goes back a little while. David's favourite long-term hand plane broke down, and I think he was starting to tinker, and I said, well, why don't you just make yourself one? And then all of a sudden, before I knew it, our garage turned into this colossal of ingredients to make hand planes. Leftover foam, wood blocks.
I started to research the materials, styles, designs, and got quite captured by the whole thing, and started to make them out of wood, balsa, paulownia. Then I started to use old broken surfboards to strip the fiberglass off and then shape them into hand planes. I'm a software developer, so it's quite different, and it's lovely to have a job that I build something physical with my hands. I can reach out and touch it, and better still have fun with it. Software's not always like that.
We set sail.
I've got some good friends who are in the surf industry, and in fact I worked with a surfboard company for about 9 years. So I understand a little bit about the construction of a surfboard, and I wanted to make a hand plane using the same production techniques as a surfboard because it's a tried and true method for catching waves. So I did a lot of asking people, I researched a lot, and then it was trial and error. And although they're both surf craft and they're both, say, foam and fiberglass, they're very different in the fact that a hand plane is so much smaller than a surfboard. So in the end, it becomes a lot more fiddly. I've actually found the physical act of building a hand plane quite a challenge.
The yard looked like a Christmas tree, or it had just snowed, and the dog was running around with white foam on it. And it got to a point where people were coming up on the beach and saying, where do I get one of those? And then David started making hand planes for people. And then it continued to build from there to the point where I said, you can't be in the garage anymore. I need the garage back. And I think it's too dangerous for the plants and the dog, and not alone the kids. And so then we started to really take it seriously.
These 20 miles, these 20 miles. Open up your heart.
With manufacturing, we didn't want to compromise on the product. We wanted to make a beautiful, high-end, performance-based product. And we had to find people who were willing to help us, really. We looked at a lot of traditional surfboard glasses and manufacturers, and because we weren't a surfboard, we were different, it was difficult to find some people who would be willing to go out on a limb and help us manufacture something, especially because our volumes aren't high. We're not making 1 million surfboards a year, so large-end manufacturers weren't interested in helping us either. We spent a lot of time working with people in Australia to try and get something off the ground, and we do some manufacturing in Australia, but it's quite small runs. The overseas manufacturers that we use, I've sat on the floor of their factories and made hand planes with them, but it's taken a long time going backwards and forwards. A lot of people say you should never turn your passion into a business, and it's probably good advice. I think the whole process of getting our first manufacturing done took almost 2 years of backwards and forwards and getting things right before we finally had it worked out how to do it.
When you want to produce a product that's a really good quality, that's such an iterative, time-consuming process, and finding manufacturers and working with people and delivering on time. We're still learning. We learn every day.
We're still in a state of flux with how we manufacture. We're trialling new things all the time. Our production runs are never that big, so we can always be quite agile and moving to using new techniques or different manufacturing types. It's part of the fun as well, working out how to solve a problem. We've still got an ongoing sort of research program happening.
When I go body surfing, it makes me feel like I'm about 8 years old when I first went in the water, and I think that's the experience I really want to get, is just that feeling of being a child again.
The actual act of body surfing itself is a joyous experience for me. It always has been. I totally love being in the water, always have, ever since I discovered body surfing as a kid. And although I stand up paddleboard, I surf, I boogie board, it's just something that I keep coming back to as what I get most joy from. The guys that I now body surf with from all over the world are fabulous people that I will have a relationship with for the rest of my life. So it's giving me everything that I possibly need from a single pursuit. I guess from all points of view, it fulfills all the needs for happiness.
Brothers, sisters, sons and daughters, come together to honor the oceans. Give our respects and
I love the freedom and the feeling that body surfing gives you. It's an experience that you really just can't get from anything else.
I love how natural it is. It's all about being with nature and being one with the water. I don't think you can really have that experience anywhere else but in the water. It's just so submersive and it's just amazing.
I'm quite stoked that there's a community that's stoked about it. Body surfing has been underground, and that's the attraction to most people and myself. I still see people and they say, yeah, what have you been doing? And I explain about the fact that I'm making hand planes and selling hand planes. And 99 out of 100 people still say, what is body surfing? What are hand planes? So it's still very under the radar for most people. I would be totally blown away if Garage could help raise the profile of the sport, make it something that people want to try, want to do. The beauty of body surfing is the more people in the water, the more people on a wave, the more fun it becomes. It's a long way from being saturated. I'd love to see more surfboard riders body surfing. It's a hard thing to do. If it's a good surf, most board riders will want to grab a board and go for a surf, whereas it's the total opposite to me. I'll take a surfboard or a stand-up paddleboard out on a small day, and I don't want to waste a good day when I could be body surfing.
I'm a walking man, don't wanna be bound by the man.
It's pretty much just you, the wave, and a set of fins where you don't have to worry about a board. You're just free, you can go under every single wave, no hassles, come back up and you're still in one piece. Board surfing is still very fun, but I just have a ball body surfing.
Most body surfers have got a pretty good sense of humour, but at the same time, they're out there surfing, Chiapu, they're out there surfing Jaws, Pipeline, they're out there surfing big waves, doing amazing things. They're still serious about their craft. Will body surfing be the next big thing? Probably not. I don't know that it's ever going to have that star status that surfing does. It doesn't look as cool as surfing, you don't go as fast as when you're surfing. Certainly the gear is not as flash, but it's something that gives a lot of enjoyment to a lot of people. It's probably a little bit of both daggy and hip, and I think that's the beauty of it. It teaches you a lot of humility. You'll always get sort of dropped in, you'll always be unseen. Dealing with that is a nice life lesson, I think.
Stand up for yourself now.
Oh, I just love the whole surging force of the wave just taking you along, and just that whole bubbling sensation around your body. That's what I love about it.
You're in a wave and there's nothing quite like that, being not on a wave, not against a wave, but you're with a wave. Like beautiful clear water and you're just out in front. You can feel it all behind you and there's nothing like it.
It's the headspace. Obviously catching waves is totally fun, but it's also a chance to forget everything else that's happening because you have to focus on the wave and the surf and the water conditions. It's a fairly physical thing to do, so you don't have time to concentrate on anything else. And that's what I love. It turns your head off and you can just focus on the moment and the now. Garage is part of my identity as being, I guess they're one and the same. I'm probably a little more introverted than normally. Body surfing and putting myself in this position has forced me to get out there amongst people I would normally have not approached or not gone out surfing with. So in that instance, I've been pushed out of my comfort zone, and helping people connect with other people to body surf or through body surfing has been awesome.
I'm really proud of what David's achieved. He has built something from nothing, and as a computer programmer, he's now built a tangible product as opposed to having an intangible product, and it's such a lovely experience. And I think it's very much a part of him, so the whole feeling about Garage Handplanes and the essence of the brand is really an extension of Dave. Yes.
I asked myself, at what point did it become a business versus for fun? And I think it's still for fun. People say if you do something you love every day, you never work another day in your life. So it all started when I wanted to make a better hand plane. To make a better hand plane, you need to invest in more serious materials, serious manufacturing infrastructure. And to do that, you need a certain volume. To get that volume, you need to sell a few more hand planes. And before you know it, because you wanted to have a sort of a no compromise approach, you all of a sudden find yourself selling hand planes. So I think it happened by accident rather than by planning. You still don't really know how far to go with the product. We're just kind of taking it year by year at the moment. But it's been an interesting journey because it wasn't something which was conceived of as a business to begin with.
Follow the water down from the mountain. See where it goes, see where it leads. Went through the forest, went through the fields. Came across beauty that seemed unreal.